to tell you, I feel like this is kind of a hit piece that you're doing on me right now, to be honest.
Sorry, that's just anti-trans.
We have one thing left. It is a David Pakman video, David Pakman show. It's actually from over 10 years ago now. We've got Gamergate. Brianna Wu accuses interviewer of hit piece attack. David Pakman show. So yeah, let's see.
I'm joined today by Brianna Wu, who is head of development at video game developer Giant Space Cat. The topic of discussion today is Gamergate. And if you have not been following this topic, for people who may not be up to speed, Gamergate is sort of an...
Whoa, here she comes. Brianna Wu, the Gamergate chick. Yes. Well, chick in like inverted commas, but yes.
Online movement, and I recognize that...
Sans filters as well. Sans makeup, seemingly.
That's kind of an amorphous term that has there are two different points.
Wait, is that mold I'm seeing? You know what, let's just keep going.
To view on what it is. One is that Gamergate is a sort of uprising against what some claim is corruption, bias, fraud, nepotism within the gaming industry. And then there are critics, and I believe you are one of these critics, Brianna, who see Gamergate more as a kind of reactionary movement of mostly white male gamers.
Yeah.
And that it has a strong...
Brianna Wu is also a white male, just so we're clear.
Misogynistic and in some cases even racist underpinning. Tell us how you were initially brought into the Gamergate fold.
Well, you know, Gamergate is not a new thing. It's a phenomenon that's been going on for basically 2 years now, starting with Anita Sarkeesian, trying to get feminist frequency funded. I was brought into Gamergate because they basically have targeted several of my friends in the industry.
It was brought in. So let me guess, because I'm not too familiar with all this Gamergate shit. Let me guess. Someone was mean about someone she likes, and she started being mean about them, and then so they started being mean about her back. I'm going to guess that's what happened, based on what I know about Brianna Wu's Twitter presence.
What happened back in July was they went after my friend Samantha Allen, who is a video game critic, and she criticized a publication here in game development called Giant Bomb, which is a very popular journalistic site that chooses to not hire anyone but straight white men. So she tweeted about this and was
wow.
Kind of critical of a new batch of hires that they had that did not do anything towards making the site more inclusive.
That's just cringe. Why do you care that much if it's fucking inclusive? I don't know. Oh, you should have hired different people. Like, what if they interviewed women and they interviewed black people and stuff? Where was a nobody in Gamergate that said to themselves? Yeah, I was kind of thinking as much. Yeah. Who here hates fireworks? I don't hate fireworks. I think Charlie does. Brianna, who? Yeah, like what if the inclusivity hires all sucked and like the white people were better? Like, why do people care about this shit? It's such a cringe fucking argument.
Critical of a new batch of hires that they had that did not do anything towards making the site more inclusive. And what you saw from that was Gamergate basically targeting her and harassing her that she was basically bullied out of the industry.
I bet there's so many like steps missing. I imagine there's so many like, there must have been so many back and forths. God knows what this Samantha person was doing. Quite possibly giving as good as she gets. And I'm pretty sure that's the same case with Brianna Wu.
So I've been very frustrated with this movement going after my friends. And I've been critical of it online. 2 weeks ago, I tweeted a joke just very mildly making fun of some Gamergaters. And this escalated to the point that my husband and I were sent extremely specific, actionable death threats to the point that we had to get the police involved. And
was this the FBI thing? Was this when they wrote it off as a joke? Hasn't she only ever shown death threats that were from $1 Million Extreme?
Leave our home. So, they gave my address. They told me they were going to castrate my husband.
Dragon Age Veil God. Oh, is that the game with all the weird, like, dialogue in it about, like, non-binary and stuff? Because that looks immensely cringe to me. I would not want to play that fucking game. I don't care very much about wokeness in games, if I'm honest. Like, I don't like things like Sweet Baby Inc., and I understand why other people don't like it either. But if a game's, like, slightly woke, it's not the end of the fucking world. Like, I like, what is it, A Night in the Woods. That game is soy as fuck, but I enjoy it. Oh, I've heard of Dustborn. I know, I like Harmful Opinions. I know that he's played it. Ooh, Veilguard from a trans perspective. Who's Enclave Emily?
Identity options. Oh my, uh-oh, here we go. Take a long, hard look in it, kid. It'll always show the face of a hero who can get it done. Establishes transgender identity and unlocks new dialogue options in future conversations.
Oh god. Maybe I should do a reaction to some of these. It's sad because the tech in the game is wonderful. Yeah, I can imagine, yeah. I don't know much about Dragon Age. I don't know if it's one of those like stereotypical like trans games, but I've never played it. I think the only stereotypical trans game I really played was like The Outer Worlds. I think that's the only like stereotype trans game I've played, and that's mostly because that's a spiritual successor to Fallout New Vegas. Yep, this game looks intolerably cringe. Maybe I should find a bunch of the cutscenes and react to them.
Husband, choke me to death with his genitals, rape me, murder any children that my family might have, stick bars in my genitals, just terrible, terribly.
I wonder if any like feminist types said those kind of things to like Gamergaters. I wonder.
Violent things. So I've been speaking out as much as I can about that. And
when she says speaking out again, is this like harassing other people for not thinking the same way she does?
because of that, Newsweek actually ran a story this weekend showing that I am currently the most targeted figure in all of game development.
Yeah, I read that story. Yeah. And I have so many questions, and we'll just go through some of these. The Newsweek story, it outlined, according to the Newsweek story, they say that of the Gamergate related tweets that mention you, 90% are neutral, right? And that there's somewhere around 3 to 4% that are positive, and maybe somewhere between 6 and 9%, I'm kind of estimating here, that were negative tweets. So when and this I think is a problem with these kind of amorphous movements. When you think of Anonymous or Occupy, what does it really mean to be part of that movement or not? But I guess the question that these numbers bring me to ask you is, what evidence do you have that the threats that you've asserted to have received were from someone that is part of Gamergate, or I guess endorsed by Gamergate? And I don't even know if that's a term that has meaning because of the amorphous, the amorphous nature.
Absolutely. This is a question I'm asked a lot, and I'm delighted to answer this because it.
And just answer it.
It's a reasonable question. What happened on that Friday where I was targeted was they'd scared me so bad on Thursday that I took a 24-hour Twitter break from a group called 8chan that has a very specific room in it for Gamergate.
You took a Twitter break? Oh my God, who cares?
Because they've been intimidating me for hours and hours and hours. They generated thousands of...
I'm pretty sure she is several years older than me now, when it was 2014. Did this take place in 2014? I'm not sure. I'm going to find out how old she is. I think she's like 48 now. So she'd have been about 38 here. Like, this is crazy to me. She's 47. Oh my God, her birthday is right in mine. 1977. So she's about 13 years older than me. So yeah, she would have been 37. This is 37-year-old Brianna Wu. We are watching Brianna Wu versus David Pakman.
Memes attacking me, which scared me. So I took a break and went away from Twitter. And I thought about it, and I'm like, these people are not going to scare me away from doing work that I love. And I came
on Twitter?
Back from Twitter, and I said that in no uncertain terms. And I got a tweet from a friend of mine that was basically telling me, Brianna, you better go to 8chan. They're really upset about that. So I'm watching the Gamergate room of 8chan, which is where these things are planned. Yeah. And I'm watching them start to research my past, to investigate my husband, to research my company, to like start digging up all this dirt to attack me. And then someone posts my address. And then literally seconds after they did that, I got this litany of very specific threats against me. So it is beyond obvious that these two things are connected. And even beyond that, I mean, I've had
they're connected. Dozens, they're connected in terms of their placement.
So did she ever answer the question of whether it came from Gamergaters or not? I didn't hear an answer.
In time, right? But again, it seems like there's still this kind of question of what does it mean if it's, when we look at 90% of the tweets about you are neutral, and then a few percent.
Yeah, like, how is this not just victim shit? She doesn't sound like Jeffrey Marsh. Yeah, she's trying to sound like a woman, but I don't know. She sounds like Brianna Wu to me.
Percent are positive. Can we say that...
After antagonizing everyone, yeah. That's what I'm thinking. Like, she probably acted in a very similar manner to what she does now. Like, instead of her crusade being saving trans people, as if any fucking trans people think they're going to get saved by Brianna Wu, of all people, and Israel. And she, like, acts insane on fucking Twitter now at 47 years old. What the fuck was she doing when she was younger? She acts like she's from that deep south place and all that. She's 2 years older than me and was born 60 miles from where I was. She's faker than a £7 note. Yep, true.
Gamergate has really endorsed these attacks on you, in spite of the fact that more than 90% of the discussion of you on Twitter is not negative, right?
David, I can show you dozens of death threats that I've received.
I don't doubt.
Have you ever showed anyone these death threats, Brianna? Or is it just the $1 million extreme one? That'd be interesting to know.
I don't doubt they exist.
You asked me a question and I'm going to answer it. I've received dozens of death threats between now and...
Yeah, but I want to talk about my death threats more. What do you mean the question you asked me?
and that Friday. So even if for some reason you don't believe that these things that happen seconds apart from each other are related, I've received dozens of death threats specifically with Gamergate claiming credit for it. Anyone, your viewers...
How can Gamergate claim credit for something?
Can go to 8chan, they can watch them attacking me all day long, or Reddit, and it's just simply not factual to conclude otherwise.
Okay, well, I'm just asking questions here, and I'm just getting a reaction.
Absolutely.
Why did
Who needs saving from bad stereotypes in gaming? Women, apparently. I don't know why.
you decide to publicize these threats? And the reason I ask this question is, I've been on the receiving end of a range that goes from just kind of petty hate mail to what I would consider a serious and actionable threat.
Happens to everyone. Imagine that. Crazy.
Absolutely.
We talk about the hate mail and the negative voicemails and that type of thing, but the 5 or so times that I've received what I considered serious threats, I went to the authorities and did not mention those. I did not post anything. I was advised by federal authorities that it's better not to post those types of things. Why did you make the decision to so heavily publicize these actionable threats?
First of all, I don't like that
Well,
word.
she actually posted them, so she may have received death threats, unless she made them up. I don't know. I can't trust anything she says, so I don't know.
Publicize. I think it's carrying some connotations with it, but I'll be happy to answer the question.
That you made them public? Fuck is she talking about?
This is a pattern that has been going on in the game dev industry for a long, long, long time. And my entire industry has chosen to keep their heads in the sand while many, many of my female friends have been bullied out of the industry. Just to walk you through the time.
Yeah, like she has not even remotely answered his question from like ages ago that he asked like twice.
Timeline. It has been Anita Sarkeesian has been getting death threats and rape threats for 2 years now. They bullied my friend Samantha Allen out of the industry. They bullied my friend Jen Frank out of the industry. They bullied my friend Maddie Bryce out of the industry. They went after Zoe Quinn. They published lurid details of her sex life online. Thoroughly have bullied my friend Jen Frank out of for 2 years now. They bullied my friend Samantha Allen out of the industry. They bullied my friend Jen Frank out of the industry. They bullied my friend Maddie Bryce out of the industry. They went after Zoe Quinn. They published lurid details of her sex life online. Thoroughly have viciously attacked her reputation publicly. They've done the same thing to Lee Alexander, and they've done it to other friends of mine. And all this time, generally speaking, the game dev world cheerleaded.
Hold up. Oh, Brianna technically actually made a game. I think, yeah, she was head of development at Giant Space Cat. I think I've said that she didn't make any games before. I think I'm wrong. I think she made one game. Look at this Gamergate harassment campaign. Is that what it was? What is Wikipedia's fucking deal? Loosely organized, misogynistic online harassment campaign and a right-wing backlash against feminism, diversity, and progressivism in video game culture. What is Wikipedia on? Jesus Christ. I wonder if Brianna Wu is mentioned here. Yeah, there we go. So it's like it started as retaliation for mocking Gamergate. Mocking Gamergate. Okay. Okay. What does that mean? What does that mean? Bizarre, anyway.
Obliviously silent. This is an industry that is mostly men, and there are any number of studies that talk about the horrible dynamics, gender-based dynamics in this industry of sexual discrimination. The reason I chose to show what was going on with me was because the industry had chosen to stay silent. And it was literally a choice for me to make my life, put it in danger, and to talk about this openly in the hope that would force the industry to finally look in the mirror and address some of these things.
Well, let's
So
unpack that.
This is how Animal Crossing was born, by games being made inclusive of people that don't like gaming. To be honest, I actually like Animal Crossing. So.
Because that's interesting to me. When you talk about the industry has remained silent, can you be a little more specific in the sense that in spending quite a bit of time researching and preparing for this interview, it seemed without question that some of the threats you received through Twitter and publicized were reported ostensibly by those also claiming membership or allegiance to Gamergate. So are we really talking about the movement as the problem, or are we talking about a faction of those identifying with it as the problem?
No, absolutely not. It's, and first of all, let's get the facts straight from what you're saying.
Yeah.
This industry has chosen to remain largely silent. They did address it when it happened to me.
But they who? Is the industry Gamergate or is it game developers? I just wanted to define terms.
Largely silent, yes. Go ahead.
No, I just wanted to define terms. When you say the industry, does that mean Gamergate and Twitter and 8chan, or does that mean video game development companies?
You're breaking up a bit. I'm about to give you...
Was he breaking up? I don't even trust that. I don't even trust that coming out of her mouth.
Some exact names. People that had chosen in the game development industry to stay silent were large industry advocacy groups. It would also be very specific game dev publications. Giant Bomb chose to stay silent for most of it. Game Informer chose to stay completely silent until very recently, until my actions kind of forced them to get involved. IGN has chosen to stay completely silent. They actually released what many consider to be a very weak statement this Friday after everyone else in the industry come forward. Giant Bomb, GameSpot had largely stayed silent. The only places that have covered this in any degree have been Kotaku and Polygon. So when I'm talking about the industry, I'm talking about the things that report on the industry. I'm talking about the development groups within the industry. I'm talking about publishers that publish games within the industry. Like, this is a problem that's been handed over to women to solve.
Okay, so just to remind everybody, we've been speaking with Brianna Wu from Giant Space Cat. We're going to go...
Oh, this is the crocodile tears. I hope this doesn't take long. Be quick. Such a spin. Yep. This reminds me of one of your bosses. I've met many liars, so she reminds me of a lot of people I've met. Isn't going to play, is it? She tries to cry in this video. It's like so weird. Nothing comes out. Nothing. It's first game, Revolution 60. It's only game. She isn't a fucking game developer anymore. What was the tweet? She posted a meme on Twitter. What was the tweet? It doesn't even show the tweet, does it? Oh, hey Stuart, how's it going? Yeah, Mr. Beast is fucking next, mate. That's how it is. I hope you're doing well. What was the tweet? I wish I could find it. Oh well, whatever.
Go to break on our TV and radio show, and we'll have the conclusion to this interview on our YouTube channel. This is the question I'm really getting at, Brianna, I think, and your last answer really illuminates it, which is I have no horse in this race whatsoever. Sure. I'm just trying to figure out what is actually going on here. When you issue this criticism of the industry, that resonates with me, and I find evidence that your criticisms of the industry are absolutely warranted. The problem I'm having is that there seems to be a conflation between the lack of concern with these issues that you're pointing out within the industry and this kind of amorphous online movement of Gamergate against which serious accusations have been made. Do you see that you're kind of conflating the two? In the sense that you're being very critical.
Yeah, I do not believe he was breaking up, like, at all. It sounded fine to everyone else. I don't know what kind of connection they're using, blah, 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 but I don't believe a word she says on anything.
Of Gamergate, but really you're saying that it's the industry which is the one that's guilty here of silence.
To be fair, she has, well, I guess she successfully developed that Revolution 60 game. But until recently, I'd never heard of it, and I looked up reviews, and it apparently isn't amazing, so, I don't know.
And ignoring the issues.
I think that's a fantastic question, and let me be very, very clear here.
Yeah.
Gamergate...
I'm going to be honest. When people say things like, oh, I think that's a fantastic question, it makes me think either this person is extremely, they say an awful lot of unnecessary shit, or she's trying to think of a response and that gives her more time. It's kind of the demon mama tactic, you know? Oh, this would be a great thumbnail. Look how serious and like severe she looks. Give me a sec. Just give me a sec. Give me a sec. I'm just waiting for it. I'm just waiting for it. I mean, I could just use this side. It's fine. Who cares? Let's keep going.
They're the ones that are harassing me. But I would ask you to consider, I've been thinking about these issues for years.
Yeah.
And I think there's a deeper issue here. And this is why I would ask you to understand, and why I would ask for your viewers to understand. The people that are responding to Gamergate are responding to a culture that has been in video games for 30 years. You know, when I was growing up, my first video game system was a Nintendo Entertainment System in 1985. You know, this was a system that started with Princess Peach being kidnapped and, you know, a damsel in distress. And it quickly became this culture that was, you know, women as very sexualized trophies as your reward. Players almost always being male. Games marketed to men. I can remember being a child and being in an arcade and there being a game called Smash TV where your reward for beating the game was going into the Pleasure Dome, where your muscle-bound male character sat on the throne with bikinied women like lauding him after he beat the game. And there were huge posters
His eyes just scream aggressive, right? Yeah. Oh, this is a good still as well. Jesus.
in the arcade promoting this. What I'm trying to say is Gamergate is a symptom of a deeper industry problem.
My question, though, is...
Hold on, let me finish.
Okay,
Let me finish. I'll take all the time you need. Right now, games are made for men, developed for men, and marketed for men. I will take all the time you need. Right now, games are made for men, developed for men, and marketed for men. And it's
Until 1986. Wait, how old did she say? Hang on.
what I'm trying to say, Pleasure Dome, this culture kidnapped in 85. You know, when I was growing up, my first video game system was a Nintendo Entertainment System in 1985.
Oof, fair enough. There we go.
Games marketed to men. I can remember being a child and being in an arcade and there being a game called Smash TV where of a deeper industry problem.
My question, though, is...
Hold on, let me finish.
Okay,
Let me finish. I'll take all the time you need. Right now, games are made for men, developed for men, and marketed for men. And it's signaling to the games are a space for men. That has the consequence that when women like myself come in here and ask to be
Women like myself.
represented, gamers...
See, women, this is your representation here. This person, all you women, this person is representing you as your fellow women. How do you like it? How do you like it? Do you think this person is a woman? Is that what you think? Is that what you see? Is that what you hear?
feel like it's their space, which is why you see Gamergate's frankly feminists raising these issues. Does that make sense to you? Do you see the broader picture?
She's not Canadian. She's from like Mississippi or something.
I think that your picture is not broad enough, and here's where I would go with this.
Sure.
I grant you that the issues you've identified within the video game industry exist. However, I don't know that you're looking at it broadly enough in the sense that for 30 years or however long whatever period we want to look at the internet through, we've seen the same phenomena within online talk and news programs, which are predominantly male and predominantly marketed to males. Online pornography, which is predominantly produced by males, marketed to males, and consumed by males. This to me...
That's a good point. I agree with him.
Seems like it is not different than the broader issue we have on the internet. In other words, make the case, if you can, that this is different than the broader issue on the internet.
Absolutely. So you pointed out journalism. I think this is a fantastic...
This is not pre-transition, Brianna. There are far more male gamers than female ones. Yep, true. And this person is not female, by the way.
To start. And I used to work as a journalist, by the way. If you look at the journalism industry, Barbara Walters was showing some stats recently that showed how journalism, television journalism, newspaper journalism had really changed throughout...
I'm sure I've heard some strange things about Brianna Wu when it comes to her journalism. You know what's really weird? It's so hard to find, like, unbiased things about Brianna Wu. Like, she's an American video game developer. Who thinks of her as a video game developer? I didn't even know she'd had anything to do with fucking... Oh, and then we've got the fucking bullshit. Oh, this is the Barry Weiss thing. I need to watch that at some point. Rocket journalist. She was a journalist at some point. God, it's always like pictures like this as well. She hasn't looked like that in a while, I don't think. But sure. I don't fucking know.
her life to a point where women didn't have parity, but it was much closer. What you're seeing in game dev...
Oh, I saw the Samus trans thing. Yeah, it's pretty ridiculous. Hi, Yuki Ichigo. Hope you're good.
Is even in comparison with tech as a
Before the HSDS lab, yes.
whole, there are so few women in here, despite it being the same resume, job skills, the same everything. So I think what you can look at the stats. There was actually a story on Polygon just today that talked about game dev having more sexism than technology as a whole. So I think you can look at I think you can look at game development and see that women are not hired in parity with a relation commensurate to other industries, such as technology, which ain't so great, journalism, which isn't so great, with other industries. So I think this is much more of a problem here.
Okay, in the last couple minutes we have left, just a couple of questions that came in from the audience. I'm guessing these will just be short things we can go through and clear up. Did you initially deny creating the so-called sock puppet account, BROLOLZ? Is that something that you always admitted was you or not? I hope we didn't lose you. Brianna, can you still hear me? Okay, we seem to have lost her. Hey, Brianna, are you still with us there?
I'm right here. I'm sorry.
Okay, yeah. Can you still hear me? OLO. Did you initially deny creating the so-called sock puppet account, BROLOLZ? Is that something that you always admitted was you or not? I hope we didn't lose you. Brianna.
Gamergate is saying they caught my fake account, brolols. Listen, if you don't understand, this is satire. You are dumb. Fucking late 30s, by the way. Listen, I do that edgy shit past my age too. I understand. This person is fucking ancient. I'm not as ancient as this person.
Brianna, can you still hear me? Okay, we seem to have lost her. Hey, Brianna, are you still with us there?
I'm right here. I'm sorry.
Okay, yeah.
I lost you.
Okay, yeah. So the question about just this account, BROLOLZ, that's you, right? Is that a sock puppet account? Did you try to hide the fact that that was you? What's the story with that?
No. Oh my God. This is the most ridiculous thing on the entire planet. I'm very happy to address this. So a tactic that Gamergate has done quite a bit with Not Your Shield is they've created fake accounts from, like, say, a black feminist woman, and they put it out there, and they try to portray themselves this way. I created an account that's similar to...
Wait, Brianna Wu inspired Law & Order SVU. Is that the one with all these guys being like, go home gamer girl? And like someone gets assaulted, and these police ask her what happened, and she's like, they leveled up. Is it that one? There have been other parody accounts, and the idea was this was a frat bro that was very for feminism, and it is just a silly joke. In fact, to make it very clear that it wasn't a side. Isn't that what all the Nazis were saying back in the day? Oh, it's just jokes, it's just memes. It's funny how these people do the exact same shit. What I need to do is watch that ContraPoints video where it's like how to recognize a crypto fascist or whatever the fuck, like one of the oldest videos that she still has on her channel. And just see how much I can, like, equate it to other groups than the alt-right. Because they do all the same shit at this point. It's like, it's the worst case of, like, projection ever. It is that one. Oh my god, I've seen bits of it. I think I saw an H3H3 video from, like, years and years ago. Like, making fun of it. It's, like, the worst fucking thing. No wonder that's something that she fucking inspired. Like, amazing.
Sock puppet, because I was worried about people thinking I was doing that. I announced it on my Twitter. I just completely set it on the account. It is nothing more than a joke. And
So it's a satirical
How is it more about Anita Sarkeesian? Fair enough.
account. You never meant
It's a
it.
satirical account. If you don't understand it's a joke, it's because Gamergate doesn't understand the examples involved. Some of the things I tweet, and by the way, I've made like maybe 70 tweets from this account. It's things like, it's this frat bro sitting around saying like, sitting around playing Call of Duty, shooting people in the face and reading our bodies are...
I love it. I'm listening to almost middle-aged AGP tell us about her tweets. Brilliant. Amazing.
ourselves.
Okay, so that's satire.
Guys, you want to know about my tweets? Oh yeah, I did these awesome tweets yesterday. Like, no, just shut up.
It's satire.
Okay.
It's just ridiculous. It's absolutely not a sock puppet. It's ridiculous. The truth is, you have these people that have attacked me every single way they could possibly think to attack me. They've created false Twitter accounts with the last letter being an I, an uppercase I and not an L in my name, and tweeted me saying horrible things about autistic people and about, people that are differently abled. So what you've seen is a massive effort to...
I remember disabled, differently abled, disabled. That was a thing for about 10 minutes once. Brianna just claims it's about, fair enough. That makes a lot of sense.
To attack me.
To be honest, who the fuck else would claim that that was inspired by them? Like, if it had anything to do with me, I would be keeping my distance personally, because it's embarrassing.
Remind your viewers that I am the victim of a crime here that the FBI is looking into, that the Boston police
Again, didn't the FBI say it was a joke?
are looking into.
And will you report the results of that investigation when we have them?
Of course.
You will.
Oh
Okay.
my God.
Did she? I can't remember actually. Did she?
God, I can't wait. That's my biggest hope, is that they're going to find someone, prosecute them, and then it's going to say to people,
Okay,
hey,
I know for a fact that never happened. Like, fuck off, bro. Like, really?
there are adult consequences to this stuff.
Okay, two more things. You were, according to Milo Yiannopoulos, you were scheduled to be on his program. He claims you said, I would love to do your show.
Sure.
And then he reported that you simply stopped replying to emails and bailed. Is that true?
It's a bald-faced lie. Your viewers can read a blog that I wrote on this. I agreed to go on his show because I wanted reconciliation and I wanted to reach out to Gamergate. What happened was he was frankly beyond rude to me when we were trying to plan this thing. I want to remind your viewers that I was on the run from my house. I had no internet. I was going to a television station
Did she have any need to be on the run? Probably not.
to do MSNBC and CNN, which frankly trumps his show. And then I was trying to get to a safe location. I had my phone, but I was literally driving to a place that was secure to go do his show. Also, I receive thousands of emails a day at this point. My electronic devices are exploding. I'm also, frankly, in trauma from everything that's happened to me. And what you saw here was, frankly, a childish...
Oh, please tell me where your trauma has come from. Please make a mockery of everyone that's experienced genuine hardships by explaining your Gamergate trauma. Come the fuck on.
reaction from someone that didn't understand. I was literally driving to a hotel to get Wi-Fi set up to do a show. And then he just...
Did Miley start breaking up, probably? Let's be real.
blew up online and was frankly a jerk about it.
So would you still be
I'm going through a tunnel.
willing to be on with him and clear the air?
What I'm willing to do is, he had a list of questions that he wanted to ask.
Yeah, he said 7 of them you didn't like, but that otherwise they were okay.
I have to tell you, I feel like this is kind of a hit piece.
7 of how many? Oh my god, she's getting angry. She's spurging.
He said 7 of them you didn't like, but that otherwise they were okay.
I have to tell you, I feel like this is kind of a hit piece that you're doing on me right now, to be honest.
Whoa. Let's talk about that. Hold on a second.
Well, in a moment. I want to answer your question first. I feel like you're really putting me on. Let's tell you, I have questions that he wanted to ask.
Yeah, he said 7 of them you didn't like, but that otherwise they were okay.
I have to tell you, I feel like this is kind of a hit piece that you're doing on me right now, to be honest.
Let's talk about that. Hold on a second.
Well, in a moment. I want to answer your question first. I feel like you're really putting me on trial here.
Oh, poor baby, having to explain literally anything ever, even though you barely answered like any of his fucking questions.
No, by no means. I think that that's an unfair allegation.
Okay. To answer your question, he had some questions that were sent to me. I think it was about 20 to 30 of them. Some of them
Okay, that might not be too bad.
were ridiculously leading, just ridiculously leading. And I said to him, I think you're going to need to phrase these more neutrally, or I'm not going to be able to answer them. I also sent them to a friend of mine, Glenn Fleischman, who is a very famous journalist, a very, very, very famous, well-regarded
Likes a bit of name dropping.
journalist, writes for The Economist. And he actually just laughed at the questions because he didn't find them ethical. We've actually talked about sitting down and doing a podcast where he would go through those questions, phrase them in a journalistically
Did this ever happen? I'm gonna guess not.
ethical way, and then we do the interview and answer many of the questions you're asking me here today.
That's perfectly fair. Listen,
Yeah.
last thing, let's address your allegation that this is a hit piece.
Sure.
The way I'm that
Raging autogynephilic males. Yeah, I probably need it for like editing purposes. Is she on something during the interview? I think she's on lots of things, but not drugs, if you get me.
that I take particular issue with. I have absolutely no horse in this race. When
I'm trying to say I think she was just born this way.
announced I was going to be interviewing you, I received a deluge of emails saying the fact that I was interviewing you alone and not someone in opposition to you was evidence that I was in the tank for the other side. And of course,
Sure.
I think you would disagree with that. Sure. All I'm doing is I spent many hours researching, and I don't want to be accused of not asking you the questions that others believe should absolutely be asked. I've not cut you off. I've presented you with a fair opportunity to answer every single claim, and I hope to have someone on with an opposing view next week or the week after to you, and they will be asked all of the same tough questions that you would want asked. So
Sure.
I take very significant issue with the allegation that this is in any way a hit
He's such a fucking pussy, man. This is so weak.
piece. I have absolutely no preconceived notion of what right and wrong is on this particular issue. I'm open to hearing both sides, and I'm merely doing my job as a journalist.
Oh, yeah. Sure. I would say, yeah, that's fine if you're going to monologue.
I'm sorry, if I'm going to monologue?
So fucking rude. Like, what is the point? What is the point in this? Like, come out with an allegation like that. At least like apologize or something. Like, okay, maybe you are honest. I don't know. Because it's not like she had any reason other than that she was getting her feet held ever so slightly to the fire for like saying that shit, you know?
Brianna, you know, you're breaking up. I don't know if you have a good connection.
Repeat this.
We got cut off. All we heard before you got interrupted was if I want to monologue.
You just told me, you gave me a long monologue about why you don't feel that this was an aggressive
You
hit.
just gave me a long monologue of like, what, 20 seconds? Wow.
What I would say to you is this has been, you've asked me like one question to present my side, and then you've asked me some very, very aggressive questions, questioning my credibility, this and that. And I feel like most of what you've asked here has been very aggressive.
Listen, I'm no longer questioning the trauma. I have a feeling she just gets traumatized by literally everything. I think her mind is just that weak.
I'm happy to answer that. I tried to answer these as aggressively as
Are you? Are you?
possible, but
Oh, now you are, because it's finishing.
I wish we could spend as much time talking about the issues at hand rather than the controversy that Gamergate is trying to, frankly, sling mud with my reputation over.
That's a fair concern, but I think that, if the questions seem aggressive.
Wait, but how much time does she spend talking about the issue at hand? And how much time does she spend talking about her own supposed harassment and like the death threats and stuff, and how she's running for her life across the country and all this other bullshit?
They're only because in this format we have a limited amount of time, and I really want to get on record what appear to be, to me as an outsider, the most controversial or pressing issues with regard to the controversy. And you're right that there is certainly a broader conversation to be had, and what I would love to do is, we're out of time today, but maybe we would have you back with someone with an opposing view where I can merely be the moderator and not inject what I believe are the relevant questions, and we could maybe hash out some of that.
Okay.
Do you think she typically seems more together? Like, I think she seemed unhinged on that. I think she seemed unhinged on like Dollcast and stuff, especially like going off at Ray and stuff. Like, I think she's got a kind of voice she does when she's clearly trying to get one past people. You know what I mean? Like, just shit on someone with impunity and hope that no one notices or cares. I don't know. I'm going to have to watch a lot more stuff. I need to understand what the fuck this person's deal is, because they're never going away, apparently. I think we can all agree that Brianna is a narcissistic twat. Do I agree? I mean, yeah, obviously.
All right, we've been speaking with Brianna Wu. She is head of development at Giant Space Cat. Thanks so much. I know you've been super busy.
Oh my god, you got the developer from Giant Space Cats? Wow, amazing.
Thanks for making time for us today.
Absolutely. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
A terse ending there. There we go. Brianna Wu. Gamergate. Something that she occasionally stops talking about, but not often.